very passionate about, and that is things around data, things around artificial intelligence. Okay, I'm very passionate about it, because right from the time I started my career, as a data analyst and an IT auditor before I moved on to, being a chartered accountant, doing CISA, and also, branching a little into the insurance industry to see what's happening there. So we're looking at how to unlock our data skills for competitive advantage as professionals, as individuals, as business leaders, and as organizations. All right, so I'm going to be going through this outline very briefly. I promise to not bore you too much and just go straight to the point. So we're going to be looking at the data revolution. When we talk about the data revolution, what's the data revolution? Okay, what's the buzz about data revolution? Is there something beyond the data revolution? Okay, we're going to be looking at the value chain of data to decision. It's not just enough to have data, yeah, but the most important thing is that we want data that can help us to make decision. I can assure you that trillions and trillions of data is being generated all over the world. Are you with me now? As we're talking. In fact, as I'm discussing with you, you cannot imagine the tera, mega, ziza, or whatever bytes of data is being generated, okay, at the moment. All right? Right. So we're looking at the value chain, okay, from data to decision making, okay. From there, we're going to look at what is our role as chartered accountants, okay, and what are the skills we need to have. I dare say that many years ago, yeah, as chartered accountants, we used to see ourselves as far removed from the information technology environment. And I remember as a prophet, I used to say it those days, even as a young professional, that a time is coming that we will not be removed from information technology. A time is coming that chartered accountants will not be able to function without some knowledge of information technology. And I prophesy again as a professional that a time is coming that there will not be any dividing line between the internal auditor and the IT auditor. All right. We have IT auditor. I say it is the person that audits IT. Okay. And I'm saying that if you're an auditor, okay, and you're working in an environment, an organization, what essentially are you auditing? You're auditing information technology. Why? Because you're interacting with data. Okay. Everything that you need to review, processes, the procedures that you need to review, everything has moved to the IT environment. So a time is coming, there's going to be a bloodline between the IT auditor and the internal auditor. Of course, because we want to own our ground as professionals, we keep evolving, all right, to make sure that there is a distinguishing line between what the regular internal auditor does and the IT auditor does. And I'm for both sides because I'm an internal auditor and I'm also an IT auditor with my sister. So what's our role? What are the skills that we need to have? Okay, what role does artificial intelligence play in decision making? Then we'll look at some use cases. How do we bring it home? What are the challenges we have? How do we build a data-driven function? How, as professionals in our various organizations? And finally, very important, you cannot talk about data, big data, artificial intelligence without looking at ethical considerations, right? And the future. So I move on to the introduction very quickly. We're looking at how we can transition as professionals from data to decision. We're looking at the skills, the tools, the frameworks that we need to have to be able to unlock the full potential of data. We know that the currency of competitive advantage, whether you believe it or not, is data. The business environment is evolving, okay? And the businesses that want to stay ahead of the game are the businesses that know how to harness the benefits of data. Not only having data, a lot of businesses have data. And I'm talking to you from the perspective of a data analyst. Okay, when I started out and you are thrown into the database of a bank, for instance, and then you just have your few audit objectives, okay? And you say, oh, these are the audit objectives as an IT auditor, as a data analyst that I need to achieve. But as we kept on growing, and as I kept on growing as a professional, I began to look at it that, come on, I need to move away from just my set audit objectives. How do I want to add value to the organization? And all through this presentation, what I want you to have at the back of your mind is that as a finance professional, as a tax professional practitioner, as an internal auditor, as a cybersecurity specialist, whatever field you have that is connected to ICANN, value, 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 value. That is what was selling as professionals. We want to add value. So adding value means that we want to move beyond where we are, okay, to where we'll be able to contribute meaningfully to the organization. So how do I want to add value to this organization? Through the insights that I can get from the data that this organization has. So I began to play with the data. Okay, I began to play with the data and say, oh, you can do this, you can do this. Look at this trend. Look at this, look at this, look at the list of data, look at the kind of information you have, look at the demographics across your product lines. And then, some organizations will say, no, this is not what we want you to do for us. Please, we ask you to come and audit, just audit and go. And I say, these insights are wonderful. They can help you to become, to have some level of competitive advantage until a C-level guy will stumble upon it and say, wow, who got this out? Steal from that data that you have. So we are generating unprecedented volumes of data from our financial transactions to our customer interactions. You cannot imagine the volumes. So I can tell you that many, many years ago, I'm talking of more than 10, almost like 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, I can say more than 10 years ago, it was novel for me to go into a transaction processing entity, and I'm seeing 50 million, 50 million. Those days when we import, their transaction data into our software, we say 50 million records. And, we're so surprised, 50 million records. But now you are talking beyond 50 million records. Those days, those large amount of records, we will spend the whole weekend analyzing it. As in, the script will keep running from Friday that I get home till Monday, the next Monday, the script will keep running. And those days we used to look at it that, large data. But I can assure you that today, what we're having is unprecedented, because every organization has moved into information, is using very complicated, complex information systems, and those complex systems are generating data per second, per minute, from customer interactions to operational metrics to digital footprints across different applications and platforms. Look at large organizations. They have different softwares, different applications that are integrated across continents, across different platforms. They are talking with each other, and data is this Zoom session that we are. You cannot imagine the amount of data that is being generated. It runs into billions. That's what we're talking about. So the value of data is not in the volume, all right? Is in the what? Your ability as a professional to transform it into actionable insights and informed decisions. Okay, that is the most important thing here. So this shift is a challenge, and is also an opportunity. It's an opportunity for those that are ready to open up their mind and take advantage of the opportunities that is there. Okay, it's a challenge for those that have been sitting on the fence, that you need to wake up. The opportunities are boundless. The values you can create on the job are boundless. That's what we're talking about. Okay, we need to move from being, just people that hold or are people that are custodians of financial information to become what? Strategic advisors. All right. We need to begin to leverage data to guide business decisions, to manage risk. And I said it before, to create value. I said data is a new currency of advantage, not because of its volume, but by its ability to turn it into decisions. And we must move from being mere record keepers into strategic advisors who unlock its value. I shared something with some young and professionals sometime, and I told them, I said, who is a CFO? They said the CFO is the man that sits on, that handles the finances, like the overall head of finance of the entity. So I now told them, I said, you are making a very big mistake. The role of the CFO has gone beyond preparing accounts, overseeing the various functions in finance. CFO is now a strategic role. So CFO is combination of strategy and finance. Strategy and finance. And it means that the height that every finance professional want to get to, if you're in finance, you want to become CFO. So it means that you are not only going to be sitting and just looking at, I want to prepare account. What's the balance sheet saying? What is it? No, you need to go beyond that and begin to look at actionable insights from your GL, because it's data that you keep aggregating from the point of posting, okay, to the point of getting your GL, to the point of getting your trial balance, to the point of preparing the account, okay? And I'm saying that the data you have can speak much more than what you are using it to do. That's what I'm talking about. So what's the data revolution? And what's the boss about the data revolution? That's the explosion in the availability of big data. But I want to tell you that we have moved from data revolution to all data revolution. I'll get to that in a minute. All right. So we're saying that the collection of large volumes of new data, that's what we call the data revolution. That's what we call big data. Sorry. So it is characterized by 3 V's: volume, velocity, and variety. So large volume of data produced at very high velocity, very high speed, okay? And it is different forms of data. How do you want it? It's different forms of data. So new technologies coming up every day, they are leading to an exponential increase in the volume and the types of data available. This is coming from the UN. This is coming from the UN. Now, the UN, alongside the committee in charge of sustainable development goals, they are beginning to see the value that data can add. And if time permits me, I'm going to share with you that data is life. Everything we do, if you have data, you have insight. If you have insight, you can solve problems, you can add value. Are you with me now? You can develop solutions, okay? And it's an eye-opening thing. And I want us all to get excited about it and begin to look at how we position ourselves to be able to harness data. How do I, interpret, manipulate data into actionable insight to the point that I can begin to, create value for my organization, for my practice, okay, for my job function, everywhere I find myself. Okay, like the UN is talking about creating unprecedented possibilities for informing and transforming the society, for protecting the environment. Companies, government, researchers, and citizen groups are in a ferment of experimentation, innovation, and adaptation to the new world of data, a world in which data is bigger, is faster, and more detailed than ever before. That's data revolution for you. They say this revolution is not going to be televised. They are talking about data. Okay, they are talking about data because it's a revolution that is not going to come with blood, but it's a revolution that can take over economies. It's a revolution that can take over nations. It's a revolution that can create new civilizations. Okay, it's a revolution that can make systems and governments to become obsolete, and a new world order can come up. How? Through the data revolution. So when we successfully leverage data, we can make faster and better decisions. We can improve operational efficiency. We can enhance risk management and fraud detection. We can deliver superior customer insight. We can achieve sustainable competitive advantage. You can make easier decisions when you have the information, you have the data with you. It's easy for you to make decisions when the information is right with you, maybe from the point of the nature and the volume of your transaction, from the point of the performance of your product line through sales information, from your customer behavior, okay, from customer information that is coming, even from your spending behavior, from your bank statement, okay, just your bank statement alone, okay, can give an idea of your preferences, what you do, okay, and how the things you love to use your money to do. All right, you can improve operational efficiency because of the information that we get, operational data that we get. We can know that, oh, this particular product line, okay, we're putting in this amount into it, and this is the output it's giving us, and you're comparing it over period, over months, over days, over weeks, and then you're able to see that, oh, this is working and this is not working. And we do not need to wait until a particular time before we begin to reach that point. It's easy for us to enhance risk management and fraud detection. Risk management is highly data intensive. I can tell you, risk management is highly data intensive. And fraud detection also, you need data. I don't know if any of us have heard of the Benford's Law before. With Benford's Law, it's a model that can help you, to observe, to notice patterns, data patterns, okay, transaction patterns, and you're able from that pattern to identify very clearly the fact that some transactions are anomalous. From anomaly, you identify exceptions, you identify fraud, and you can deliver superior customer insights. I've talked about that. Okay, what are the things that our customer wants? What are the products that they go for? At what point in the year do we get this particular product line moving? Why is the product line moving? Who are the people that are buying this product? Okay, what is their demography? What are their preferences? How does season influence their decisions? How does their economic cadre influence their decision? How does their even their demography, where they come from, where they work, their level of education, all of those information, they are available. How do they affect the decisions and the choices that our customers make? And then from there, it's easy to achieve sustainable competitive advantage in your business. So if we fail to harness data, what we're saying is that we are going to fall behind. Okay, we'll fall behind more agile and analytical mature
Good
competitors.
afternoon, everyone. I don't know, maybe it's my own network. I can't hear you speaking again, sir. I can't hear your voice.
Sorry, it's your network. We are all hearing you. It's your
Your,
network. You can go on, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Please also confirm that you can still see my screen.
yes,
Yes,
We
we are
can
all
still
hearing
see.
yes, it's okay
All
now.
right, that's it.
your screen
So
clearly.
I love the feedback from time to time so that I won't be speaking to myself. I'm sorry. All right. So I'm saying that if you fail to harness data and the opportunities that are available, you risk falling behind. Yeah, you risk falling behind your competitors, because I tell you that a lot of people are taking advantage of that. Let me bust your bubble. All right. We that are professionals, we are having a lot of young people that are coming into the industry now. Are you with me now? Very young people, pretty much inexperienced. They are coming into the industry, they are coming into jobs, they are entering into consulting. They don't have the kind of experience that you have. But I can assure you that what they lack in experience, they are adequately compensated for with what? With available data. Because when we say experience, what's experience? Experience is what you know now, is it not? What you know, what you have experienced. And I'm telling you that data has bridged the gap for them. All the information that you are the one that generated it, the information that you have, they can get it in the palm of their hands, and they have a lot of tools that they can use to be able to what? Utilize those information. Please give me a moment. All right. Thank you very much. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
All right. Thank
Go
you.
ahead.
We can
Yes,
hear
we can
you.
hear you. We are with you.
Problem. All right. So I'm saying that the new crop of young professionals that we have now, okay, they have a lot of information, okay, and you can argue it. I do not have time. We can begin to argue it and say, nothing can stay in the place of experience. But when it comes to competitive advantage, it is who has the greater value to deliver. It is who has the greater value to deliver. Do you know that now we have AI-powered accounting software, the first of its kind in Nigeria? And I'm not talking about existing software that are trying to leverage on AI. I'm talking about a software that from scratch is AI powered. Okay? It's a startup. I know the people that started it. In fact, it was a mentee. They got funding from foreign investors and they are running effectively in Nigeria. And a lot of companies are taking advantage of it. Okay? So data is no longer historical again. It's now real time. It's now predictive. It's now strategic. And we must be able to leverage on the available data we have to be able to help, to be able to help us predicting patterns, to be able to help us, in building our strategy. All right. When you talk about strategy, what the organization wants to achieve. Like I used to say when I engage with strategy people, that this is what organization want to achieve. What are the risks around it? And I have seen organizations that have very strong strategies. I've seen them achieve their strategies. I've seen them surpass targets. And the only weapon, the only thing they have used is the fact that they have leveraged on available information. They have looked at what are the things that can go wrong? What are the things we need to do so that these things don't go wrong? What is our environment talking about? Okay, what's the business environment talking about? What is more likely to happen tomorrow? What's more likely to happen next week? Okay, and we're saying we are harnessing all of that information that we have. And ladies and gentlemen, I will shock you to say that there are billions of data floating all over the place. So we're saying you can identify yours, you can harness and create value with. So that's data revolution. But I told you that we now have what we call the all data revolution. That's a new, that's a new whole world, a new whole world. Okay, and the all data revolution is looking at the life cycle, okay, from data production, all right, real-time data from large ERP systems, okay, that from digital sources, from digital footprints, okay, is helping to promote the timeliness of information. So you do not need to wait until after a particular time before you get information. It is right at your fingerprint. Information is being generated per second. Every time you pick up your phone, okay, and you visit the website, you visit the social media point, you are all of those links, everything, they are data point. Data is being generated. And even your device, and you can I can it can shock you to know that you're using your phone now, okay, to connect with this conference, with this session, and you'll be shocked that by the time you go to Facebook or you go to Instagram, the kind of advertisement you are going to be getting is going to be related to data, big data, data revolution. And you're wondering that, hey, I didn't check anything, because every part of your device has turned to a data point. Your microphone is a data point. If you like, mute it, the microphone still listens to you. The only thing it doesn't do is to even listen to what you think. And sometimes I'm even tempted. When you just make a statement, just whisper a word, before you know what's happening, you are bombarded with what? With advertisement, with opportunities around the things you're talking about. Those are organizations, and entities that are taking advantage of those data sources and data touch points, to be able to get actionable insight and intelligence that can help their business. The issue of ethical, the ethical part of it, and the law part of it. We're going to discuss it. So computer assisted, assisted personal points are there, where you can get a lot of data. Okay. So the high quality inputs, the stronger audit evidence will help the accuracy of what we do as auditors. Okay, it will enhance continuous auditing and fraud detection. We move to data management. Now we have cloud systems. Okay, we have APIs. APIs are software that connect different systems. Okay, so you, instead of having systems in silo, it's possible for you. You can run like 5 applications in your organization, and you're getting data from application A and it's feeding application B. You're getting data from application B and it's feeding application C. And this can run across organizations. It can run across continents. Okay, so we have structured databases that enable secure data handling. Okay, and it's easy for us to carry out what is called data governance. Okay, that is how we leverage on data to help the organization achieve its objectives, and how we also have some level of control over data that is being generated. Audit trails are easily maintained now. Internal controls are easily, implemented now. All right, because you can easily have a single point of truth. Okay, it's easy for you to identify control points within the application, and it's easy for you to be able to get exceptions. Okay, whether those rules and those points that you have put in place are working effectively or not. And then regulatory compliance and documentation integrity is also promoted. So from data management, we move to data analysis. Okay, we can get insights, we can get measurements, we look at analytics, we look at machine learning. Before we talk about analysis, when we started it was analysis. Now it is now analytics, because we are saying it is not just working on data, it is getting insights from that data that you're actually working on. And finally, under data revolution, we are looking at dissemination, timely dissemination, okay, and transparent reporting of data from various different dashboards, okay, and then using dashboards, we can deliver near real-time insight. Okay, we can improve management reporting, board oversight, and regulatory submissions. We can have an improved transparency, accountability, and stakeholder communication. So before I move on, what I want to ask you is that you look at all of these things, and then you should be asking yourself, where do I want to play as a professional? Where do I want to play? Where do I want to use data to add value? All right, where do I want in which part of this particular life cycle? I'm still going to talk about the value chain. In which part do I want to function to add value and to get value on the job? All right. Okay, sorry for that interruption. Okay, this is where I work. So I'll be talking about Saviynt later. It's an interruption, and I'm sorry, but it's intentional. I should sell my employer too, right? All right, let's move on to talk about from data to decisions. What's the value chain? How do we move from data that we have, okay, to decision that we make? How do you do that? The first point is data collection. So you're looking at collection points. So you want to ask yourself, what are our collection points? Right from the point where information is uploaded onto the various systems that are used by the organization. Majority of the time, you are not even the one that is doing the data collection, okay? Because you are leveraging on platforms. You are leveraging on different platforms to get the data that you need to do your work. You're leveraging on applications. As I told you, there are different data collection points. Even some of those collection points, they don't even need as much data, but they are collecting it. Organizations can leverage on those collection points to be able to get data that they can now begin to further process. And data is expensive. Data is expensive. Okay, so accountants are beginning to move, as I have told us, are beginning to move, are beginning to evolve. I'll talk about that. But let's look at this value chain. So from data collection, you move to what? Data processing and cleaning. What are the source of that data collection? You have your financial records, you have your ERP systems, you have your social media points, you have your different data points, okay, across, depending on the kind of organization that you run. We're saying that in our company, from where does data come in? Okay, from which point do we have the information entered that it becomes data? Most times in tables and in soft copy, if I'll put it that way. Those are your data collection points. Okay, for the bank, for instance, somebody comes to open an account. Maybe we have a link that we have sent to the prospective customer. Fill your name, fill your this thing, enter your NIN number. Immediately that person enters his NIN number, most of the information that we need for his your own onboarding platform, or that place where you enter customer information, and the owner of the data, NIN. Recently now, we are having data, sort of data, identity data sovereignty. We want to have a single point of truth in Nigeria. President signed it into law like I think this week, maybe 2 or 3 days ago. Okay, so that's the data collection point. All right. The point where a transaction is posted, is uploaded onto the accounting software, accounting application, that's a data collection point. Where it is posted, you pick the debit, the credit, enter the description. Somebody wants to pay, you log in to your internet banking platform, you enter the name of the customer, you see those fields are there. Those fields are where you enter the information. That's a data collection point. You enter the name, immediately you enter the account number. What happens? The name of the customer to come up, because the bank has an API with a central database. That's the Nubank database that has all of our information. Okay, and then the name comes, you put the amount, you put the description. At the end of the day, you have an output that will show you serial number, effective date, transaction description, amount, balance, and some other reference information that they need. That is how it runs. So from the point of collecting the data, you need to now do what is called data processing and cleaning. Why? Because we have a lot of unstructured data. We have a lot of unstructured data. If as an auditor, you put your hand in your pocket, you go to, even as an accountant, and you say, "Spool out your information for me." IT people, they can be very, very wonderful. For those of us that are auditors, and you want to show that you know more than them, I say, "Spool out this information for me," and you go. They're going to spool out information for you. But I can assure you that information, you are not going to be able to use it. Okay, because what they are going to give you is going to be raw data, and if you are not experienced, you will not be able to do anything with that data. So that is why there is now a need for some sort of data processing and cleaning. It's also a skill that we need to acquire. Why? Because of our job, and because sometimes we are limited when we start asking for cleaned structured data. Sometimes we should be able to get the data in its raw form and should be able to transform it into clean data and into data upon analysis that can give you an actionable insight. Okay, so we need to process and clean up the data. As a data analyst, I have understood that when I collect data, I cannot immediately analyze that data. In fact, I can tell you that most work is done at the point of processing and cleaning. Take it from me. Most work is done at the point of processing and cleaning. I'll give you an example. Do you know that now artificial intelligence has gone to the point where the AI is beginning to study people's behavioral patterns to be able to understand how to sell data about people's behavioral patterns to businesses that need it to make money. Okay, in India now, we have people that the only work they do, they are AI trainers, and they are paid very well. Okay, it's just coming to Nigeria, but it has been. okay, that you say as a woman in the house, the only work you need to do is to strap on a camera to your forehead, okay, like somebody that like all those old hunters, all those baba àwọn baba ọlọ́dẹ yẹn, you just strap up your phone to your forehead, and what it's doing is that it wants to be recording everything you are doing from when you wake up, how you wash your plate, how you do this one, how you iron your clothes, how you fold your clothes, all of those information, what you say, how you respond to people, within the house, how you go to the garden, how you arrange the house and all of that. Those are actionable insights and data that they are generating to be able to what? To be able to help organizations. It can help those organizations that are building robots. So at the end of the day, they have gathered different data from India, from Nigeria, from America, from China, from United Arab Emirates, from the UK, from Europe, and they say, we have a robot that can do everything for you. From cleaning your room, no matter how rough your room is, the robot will pick everything. The robot knows how to dust it, how to on the TV, how to off it, how to wash plate, and you'll be wondering that, wow, how come? Because that machine is making use of data that has been collected from different sources, from different, different individuals across different continents, and it has been harnessed. So the point I'm making is that it will need to be processed, it will need to be cleaned. If you go online now, there are so many, freelance jobs. They will say the only thing you need to do is to just go outside and be recording vehicles that are passing, or just be talking, just be reading something. There's Yoruba, say you should read it in Yoruba or say it in English, so that tomorrow when you go to ChatGPT and you ask it something, that information that you have given to ChatGPT is what ChatGPT will use to answer you. So that data is cleaned and processed to ensure accuracy, completeness, and consistency. Okay, and through the process of cleaning and processing, also we are able to eliminate duplicates and errors. Then it comes to what? Data analysis. We're asking for questions. There's descriptive analysis, what happened. There's diagnostic analysis, why did it happen? All of those things based on what? Based on the data that you have gathered from the information. Is it transactional, customer, whatever insights, data. Predictive is looking at what will happen. How will I know what will happen? It's going to be based on what has happened before and why it has happened. So it means that I can easily predict, okay, that this is going to be what will happen, okay, and if for different scenarios, this is what will happen, because I have information of what has happened, I have information of why it happened, maybe perhaps even when it happened, because you have time fields, you have date fields, okay, you have timestamp. Every transaction, there's transactions, data. Now there's timestamp, when something happened, okay. So you can now do predictive analysis. From there, it's easy for you to have, that's the highest now, prescriptive analysis. What should we do? It takes us back to when this happened, okay. We knew why it happened. We knew when it happened. We knew what happened as a result of all of those things that happened. So now, if we are presented with the same reality at this point, to the highest accuracy, we can say this is what is going to happen. We do this. Very, very simple. So from descriptive to diagnostic to predictive to prescriptive, we are able to identify what needs to be done. Then after data analysis, when you do data analysis, you are going to get a lot of results. Okay, some of those results, they are not going to make sense. Some of those results, they will make sense. For instance, I use a little bit of Excel. I'm a certified trainer in the Caseware suite. Okay, I use Caseware idea very, very well. I'm sure some of my senior professional colleagues would have heard of Caseware idea. I use it very, very well. At the time I was product manager in Nigeria in my former life before I moved on. So after the data analysis, you will get a lot of results. It's not going to be all of those results that is going to be correct. Some will be wrong, some will be right. Okay, some will be false positives. That's another aspect. Some will be false positives, okay, and then some will be real results that you need. So based on that, it's easy for you to be able to generate insight. Like I used to say, just play around. If just play around data, you will get a lot of insights. Just play around it. Any data that comes into my hand, 1,000 records, 2,000 records, as long as I have the tools, I know how to use them. I just play around and I get a lot of insights, okay, that can help to make further decision. You can start from your bank statement, for instance. Just collect from January to June. You'll be sure there is a whole lot of data. Drop it in Excel and start filtering. Okay, start from your description field, for instance. What are the things you use money to do? If you are like some of people that are like my daddy, those days they use check stubs. When they take a check, they will write what they use that money to do at the back of that check. That is your description field now in your banking app. They will write it there. So from there you say, oh, I spent 50,000 naira on data in January alone. What did I use it to do? What value did that bring for me? Okay, I spent this so amount on this. Oh, I even have some unexplained debits in my account. It is when you do analysis that you'll be able to identify all of that. And this can be extended to various aspects of our lives and what we do. I want to pick up speed because of time. All right. So after you are able to generate insights, then it's easy to make decision. Okay, it's easy to make decision based on the insights that you have identified. You can now make decision. Okay, so I want to talk about our evolving role. Our evolving role as accountants. We are moving from record keepers to strategic advisors. Before now, accountants are just record keepers. Okay, we want to gather information, we want to put them in our big archival files. Okay, and I was speaking with somebody, and another time account is telling me, no, you still need to have those information. You still need to have them, those files. That there's nothing anybody want to say. Those files are still supposed to be there. And they say, you don't need it. Say, it has to be backup. I say, the data you have, you can replicate it across, different platforms. Okay, you can create different scenarios. Okay, so just want to be keeping the record. And the question is that the information that you have, what are you using it to do beyond just preparing accounts? Move to the point of being a strategic advisor. Don't just be preparing, say, no, we just prepare this our profit for the period. We have our MA, we have our this study, and then we just go. We are moving from record keepers to strategic advisors. And strategic advisors implies that the information that we have in our custody as data information record keepers are what we are using to advise the organization. So the finance professional should begin to see himself as beyond naira and kobo, trial balance and balance sheet, to statement of financial position and cash flow, to becoming a CFO. That is a strategic partner to the entity. And there's just one thing that can help you to do that. I can assure you, it is data. Ask those that are in strategy. I have a little experience with strategy, and I can tell you. And I'm in my professional life, I have always ensured that I don't stay far from the strategic objectives of the entity. So everything I do on my table, I want to make sure that I am helping the organization to achieve its strategic objectives. No matter what, I will always marry my job on my desk to the organization achieving its objectives. That is how you are going to add value. Yeah, that is how you are going to add value. You are not just doing a job, okay, but you are contributing to the entity achieving its objectives. So how am I going to do that? What information do I have that I'm generating or is coming to me as a professional? Okay, so beyond my job, what 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 insights can I get from the information that is coming to me, from the reports I'm getting, from the data I have access to? Okay, what insights can I get to help me become a strategic advisor to the entity? Okay, so accountants have transited from backward-looking reporting, the things that what has happened last month, at the end of the month end, year end, quarter end, to what? To forward-looking insights. We are now looking at the information we have, and it's easy for us to now what? Project into the future, the next month, the next week, and with confidence you can say, oh, and data is beautiful, I tell you. There was an entity that was loss-making. I will share this with you. And as at Q3 2025, as at Q3 2025, the head of strategy of that entity was able to look me straight in the face and say, I look at our performance over the last 3, 4, 5 quarters, and I can tell you that we are making a lot of improvement. And by Q4, I can tell you we are moving from red to green. And I tell you that that guy was right, because he has data to what? To talk to. In fact, I'm not sure the finance person can even speak from that perspective, because the strategy person is getting data from different what? From different points. And I say that what? Even that field too, they got there before us. Okay, due regard to some of our elders in the house. Look at when the big four came. See, they came, you know, with the intention that they want to leverage on data. They came with that intention. They want to leverage on data, and they are using data. They are using technology. Okay, and now we're having the big four, and then you will now see that some of our indigenous firms. I'm throwing jab at my seniors and my partners. Okay, because at a point in my life also, I was training a lot of audit firms in Nigeria. Okay, I was training a lot of audit firms in Nigeria, quite a number in Ibadan too. I'm sure I've been to Ibadan too to make presentation to I'm sure to this Ibadan district. Okay, I know if some people see my face, they will remember that small boy, somewhere inside Ibadan, UI, at some of your conferences talking about caseware suit for financial reporting. And what I discover is that the indigenous firms were slow in embracing technology. They were slow in embracing technology to solve their customers' problem. So they allow this, the big four to come into the industry, and we keep dragging with them with the juicy job. But that's not where we are going to. Okay. So we're saying that we need to transition from backward looking reporting to forward looking insights. We need to move from manual processes, not to automated processing, to automated analytics, because now technology has helped us so that even the processing part, the processing part of our operations can be done by technology. The processing part of our functions can be done by technology, so that we can just relax and just look at analytics, and based off the results of those analysis and analytics, we can easily take decisions. And this creates a gap. The gap it creates is this one. No, it's a gap. No, a problem, a challenge. What it creates is that a lot of people are going to lose their job. A lot of people are going to lose their jobs. Every year I used to talk, to some of the conferences I attend at the beginning of the year. I facilitate on the future of work. Every year there's a report on the future of work, and every year I keep sharing with people. You will see jobs that are gradually going, and you see those that are evolving, that are coming up. That's why you see that what knowledge, and skills. There's now a sort of work. I was talking about younger people that come into the industry. They just go and do ICANN, and then you just see them flying because they are able to leverage on data. And then you see somebody that has been qualified for a very long period of time, but has refused to leverage on information and data, on technology, on contemporary things that are going on, and then those people are being left behind. So we are expected to leverage on data interpretation and storytelling, because it tells a story. Data tells a story. We are expected to leverage on risk analysis, risk analytics, and fraud detection. Okay, we are expected to leverage on strategic decision support. I've talked about that. We're expected to leverage on technology integration and governance. Okay, because technology and data work hand in hand. Without technology, data is not going to be generated. So if you are still removed from technology, then you are not an accountant of the future. Many years ago, I was on a World Bank project. I will not mention the name of the state. We went there and the World Bank project, so they acquired computers for the office of the auditor general and the accountants, and then went to train them and say, click your mouse. I saw some people that were holding their mouse, they were raising it up. Say no, say click it. They were raising the mouse up like this. Okay. Some people, there is a word my boss used to use. I've forgotten now. He said they hate technology. They are scared of technology. Okay, they don't want anything. When they hear technology, they want to do everything to water it down. So I want to say it that this time, the time and age that we are, due regard to our elders, is the time where we've got to embrace technology. You cannot beat them, join them. Because the world has gone beyond technology to talk about data. The world has gone beyond the information system to talk about data. The world has gone beyond, data to begin to look at artificial intelligence, leveraging on data to make decisions. So the world has gone very, very far. So if we are still at the point of, competing or struggling with the idea of technology, to do our jobs, to do stuff, then we're still far behind. So what are the skills that we need? I call them CDS, the core data skills that we need as accountants. What are the core data that we need as accountants? Number one, we need is data literacy. Data literacy. And the information I'm sharing with you is also based on research. In fact, I just finished conducting a research. I'm a research kind of person, okay, on AI adoption for chartered accountants and internal auditors, okay, across the financial services. Okay, time will not permit me to share. The results just came in, on Friday. So time will not permit me to share, the results with us. But I have some insights that I'm going to share. Okay, so data literacy is very important. You must understand data sources. You must understand data structure. You must understand data flow. What do I mean by that? I have talked about the sources, okay? The structures, data comes in different structure. Okay, there is structured data, there is unstructured data. We must understand all of those data structures. We must understand the flow. Where is this thing coming from? Okay, it is transformed to become this final output that we have. For instance, if you download your bank statement now, that's not originally how your bank statement looks like. As I told you, is a whole lot of mumbo jumbo. Okay. Sometimes we as data analysts, we prefer that one, that structure, that source than this bank statement. Okay, because that will give me more information than what? Than this one. This one you have has been cleaned up. And this one has even gotten to the point of actionable insight. But I want the raw data as the transactions are what? Are taking place. Okay, so we must understand data structure. It is important for us. So that is what we call data literacy. What is data? Okay, what are the various data structures? What are the data flows? How do I get this? How do I get that? We must be able to interpret and question data outputs. Nearly will say some of the outputs, they are actually very friendly, okay, and some are not friendly at all. In my early years, when you go say, those days my boss will say, give us report. So IT people will give us complete report. My boss will say, go back and meet them. This is not the report that I want. Say, I don't know. Sometimes you will need to query the system yourself, okay, and be able to download the report you want to be able to, you get the kind of insight you need to be able to do your job as an IT auditor those days. So data literacy is very important. And this is a basic requirement for everybody. For everybody, from the least of us to the greatest of us, even little children, Number two is data analytics. You must have some basic skills on how to use tools to analyze data, even if it is for, ordinary extraction can give you insight. Ordinary data extraction, that filter that you do on Excel, that you click and then you click, and it can give you a lot of insights. Ordinary sort can give you a lot of insight. Okay. So tool Excel, Power BI, Tableau, and so on and so forth. We must understand how to use those tools. We must have some idea on basic statistical analysis. And when I talk about statistical analysis, don't begin to rack your brain on the on the mumbo the complex things that we're doing in the university and all of that. There are models now in applications that will get you results, but you need to understand how it works. Okay. Then we must also know trend and variance analysis. Okay, and I'm talking of variance across different data sets, across different periods, across different data points, not just last year we had 500,000, this year we had 1 million. So what's the variance? 50%, 100%, 150%. It goes beyond that point. Number three is technology awareness. You must understand AI. You must understand machine learning. You must understand automation, even at its basic. And let me tell you one thing. You see, these things are not complex at all. Not complex. It is as simple as you see it. It's not complex. I can assure you, it is as simple as you see it. There's nothing complex about information technology. There's nothing complex about IT. I didn't start off as an IT person also, but I was just intentional about learning these things. I studied engineering, okay? And as at the time we were leaving school, that was when, technology and engineering were just getting married. I remember I was visiting as part of industrial visit one company, in the Shagamu axis of Lagos. And I discovered that a whole production line, it was only one person that was there. I was shocked to my marrow. I left that place with my mind renewed. Eh? Just one person. It was just software they were using. They were using all this process software, ICs, MATLAB, MATCAD. Just one person sat there. So as the as the products were moving from one stage to the other, the the product line has sensors, has all of these things that analyze, and they are reporting to what? To one computer. So one person just sat down there and is just looking at the screen. So if something is wrong, it will quickly deploy, correct it, and continue. I say, hey, look at this line. Long line. I'm telling you, long line. Just one person in front of a computer. That's what we're talking about. Okay. We need to understand automation. We need to be familiar with ERP systems and data platforms. Very important. ERP, we need to be familiar with ERP systems. Those are enterprise resource planning systems that manage majority of the operation of the entity. Then there's need for critical thinking, asking the right questions. If you're going to solve problem, if you're going to provide insights and add value, you must ask questions. You must be able to challenge assumptions. You must be able to connect financial and operational data. If this driver goes out 5 times this day, what level of sale is he bringing? What is the all right. So you see now, you have married financial and operational data. So at the end of the day, it is, and you are talking data, It went out 5 times. What business? What is the cost? Okay. And then when you have data, you are not to be sentimental. I'm sorry. When there's data, there won't be sentiment because you are dealing with what? Fact, and facts do not lie. And the beautiful thing in our generation is that we have thousands and thousands and thousands of that data. Do you know that in Nigeria today, we don't have recent population information? I was just thinking about it and I said, let me just check. Let me look at our population data. By our population projections, do you know that the highest population Nigeria now is a pretty much youth population. More than 70% of the people in Nigeria are between the ages of 18 and 35. What can you do with that information? Think about it. When I saw it, I dropped some things on my status. Okay, I dropped some things on my status. What can you do? What can government do with that information? It can drive our education system. It can drive our medical, our medical, health options. It can drive even companies, the strategies of companies. Okay, the kind of strategies that they have, it can. You understand? So just that information alone, if you now drill down to your own environment, you will now see that you see organizations that are coming into the country and are leveraging on it and making a lot of money because they are taking advantage of our demography. They are taking advantage of our demography, and some of our legacy companies are not taking advantage of it. That is why companies will come from abroad and will be selling the same products that legacy, our national treasures, those companies that we value, the same product that they are selling, and they'll be thriving, and those companies will keep struggling. You know why? Because they have failed to evolve. They have failed to take advantage of the information at their what? At their, that is available to them, but they are now making use of it. See what took place in the banking industry. See the way the fintech just came, and now fintech just entered like that and just took over the industry. And now the banks are now running after fintech. Can you imagine that? The fintechs did not have as much money as the banks had, but the banks wanted to be stuck in their ways. Okay, they want to be stuck in their ways because we too risk people. We don't want to live the way we do it. Like I used to tell people, I say, you have to balance up between what the customer wants, okay, meeting the customer needs, and the risk involved, because the risk professionals are saying, no, 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 how can you, somebody you don't know, somebody you have not seen, how can you just ask him to click a link, open an account, oh, money laundering, oh, this, and then it was a problem. The fintech say that's a problem. But I do not want people to be coming to meet me somewhere and be lining up and be filling form. That's wasting a lot of time. So what can I do to solve the problem? So they were forward thinking, because what was driving them was not, regulatory requirement, was not the fear of the regulator. What was driving them is that what we want to meet the needs of the customer, and not just all of our customers. We want to meet the need of a particular demography. And now you can sit in the comfort of your house. You can open an account, even across the 3 tiers experience. And I know how much work it was. Tier 1 account, tier 2, tier 3, and then you have to come and sign. Right across your application, right across your software, you can do all of that. And do I shock you? Some of the fintechs, they are even more secure than the traditional commercial institutions that we have. Go and check. The data is there now about the breaches and all of that. So what are we talking about? So we need to move, challenge assumptions, connect financial and operational data. Let's marry it together. There's insider, and these are skills that we must get if we must add value. And finally is data visualization and storytelling. We must be able to present data. Data must tell a story before it adds value. If it's not telling a story, then is not adding value. 90% of organizations in Nigeria, okay, they have begun to use AI. 30% are already at an advanced stage. At least one form of AI or the other they are using. Okay, and that's good. Okay. 87.9% have reported improved efficiency in their operations. 34.7% are accountant, they have reported faster financial close. Okay. 41.2% have reported reduction in reporting errors. But we still discover I'm talking of Nigeria now, 84% of accountants still report gaps in AI and data skills. And I think we need to do better. That's very low. Okay, data quality and data literacy still remain low. They remain a key, very key challenges. Okay, so but there's a strong institutional push, by ICANN, okay, trying to drive AI adoption initiatives. If you look at the conference themes over the past period, it has always been about digital finance, analytics, but I feel that the body can still do more. The body can still do more to focus on the next generation of accountants. And I tell you, the next generation accountant is going to cut across generational lines. Let me repeat myself. The next generation of accountants is going to cut across generational lines. So the 70-year-old ICANN elder with a ICANN number that starts from 10 or 01, okay, can be part of the next generation of accountants in Nigeria. Because what is going to make the difference is not going to be age, it's going to be skill. And it is not too late. It is not too late to what? To adopt what will make the difference. Let's talk about artificial intelligence very quickly. Okay, so we're looking at how AI is transforming how organizations are analyzing and using data. With artificial intelligence, is making life very, very easy as long as you have the right tools to make use of. From automated transaction analysis to fraud detection, using anomaly detection models, to predictive forecasting in finance, to continuous auditing and monitoring internal audit, to intelligence risk assessment. So we can talk about the fact that AI can process large volumes of transactions. AI can identify patterns. AI can flag unusual items for further review. And AI is not magic. AI is still data-powered analysis. People have been able to train models, train the machine using data. Okay, they have been able to identify parallels. So when you are putting your own data into that model, the model understands that pattern because the model has been trained using that pattern, so it can give you actionable. So whatever you ask, it can give you. Why? Because it is trained. Fraud detection. I was talking about Benford's law the other time. So artificial intelligence is almost making Benford's law, obsolete. But the thing is that laws and theory, laws don't change. Okay, that if you notice certain patterns, in transactions, you see that what there's actually inconsistency and something wrong with it. With artificial intelligence, we can detect unusual patterns and outliers. Okay, that may point to irregularities or fraud. Okay, and then it's easy for us to be much more proactive than being reactive. Okay, so there's predictive forecasting. Okay, so we can use historical figures and data and real-time figures and data to forecast, okay, into the future. Is it our cash flow? Is it our financial performance? Okay, and then we can add value to planning and strategy. Okay, and continuous auditing and monitoring. As I have said in different fora also, that audit is moving from being ad hoc, to continuous. It's moving from being ad hoc to continuous. You don't need to wait until 1 month. 80% of fraud, you discover that in fraud cases, 80% of those fraud cases, the monies are irrecoverable. The money are irrecoverable. So we cannot continue to see. That's information. That's data. We cannot continue to sit and wait until the end of this period. Say after this, and we'll now come back. And now, no, audit has to become much more proactive, much more predictive, okay, in what we do. So with AI, we can have real-time monitoring of transactions. Okay, we can provide continuous assurance. We can reduce audit cycle time. And I can tell you that some of these things I also practice. For instance, in my audit, I have built a number of AI agents, okay, that help me to do my work, much more easily, because I see that, these things are just, they are repetitive and the same thing we do. So why don't we just, have AI agent? And some of the tools also have, you can build your own AI agent. It's a very sweet thing. And you don't need too much programming experience like that to build an AI agent. Okay, and then finally and much more importantly is risk assessment, which is a major area also that we are able to use internal and external data to identify risk more accurately. Okay, and so we depend less on our subjective judgment to begin to say this is an area of low risk or high. There are complex models, okay, that bring outcomes that when we present to boards, they cannot question it. Sometimes as professionals, sometimes professionals we struggle to defend our judgment and our treatment, okay, before the board. All right, all right, all right. So time is going now. I've been told. So their AI can help us, okay, in getting the kind of information that we need, interpreting those information, produce insights that will help, that will help the organization. So we are shifting from manual tasks to analytical roles. We need to understand AI output, its limitations, and of course, there is need for increased focus on judgments, okay, and ethics. Okay, so let me just I'll just quickly go through this. Use cases in finance and audit for artificial intelligence and data, fraud detection, suspicious transactions, duplicate payments, anomalies, financial forecasting. We can use predictive models to improve budgeting and manage economic volatility. Internal audit, I talked about continuous auditing, automated controls testing, even from the point of building little scripts, getting involved in implementation of applications and software. We are able to run our reviews, and then we're able to identify exceptions, okay, and we are much more proactive, even before the crystal, we're able to identify exceptions, and we're able to report on those exceptions. We can provide insights, can identify opportunities for business performance. We can automate reporting processes, and of course, we can improve accuracy of complex estimates. Okay, depending on the industry, there are a number of estimates, there are a number of projections that we need to make. Okay, available data can help. Okay, to do that. Reference to the banking industry now, insurance, for instance, especially those financial services generally. Okay, you see them leveraging on data because with IFRS 17 and all those standards and more will still come. You need to build models. You need to use data. You need to identify historical patterns. Okay. And then you are doing loan analysis, not until when the loan goes bad. There are so many metrics, macro and micro metrics that you can leverage upon to be able to make your provisions on a facility before it goes bad, and before it impacts your balance sheet negatively. Okay, so there's risk management and compliance, there's revenue assurance. Okay, we can manage liquidity and optimize our cash cycles. It can help in tax compliance and planning because we can automate the process, we can identify risk and optimization opportunities, expense and procurement, ESG and sustainability reporting. There's available information that can help us to also report on that. That is another emerging area. And I would advise professional colleagues, be forward looking, go and focus on this ESG and sustainability reporting. There are free trainings, there are paid trainings. Go and get trained because it is coming. It's here already because we have the necessary FRSs for reporting for large organizations. Organizations will need people to consult for them. They will need experts, okay, to analyze their processes for them. Okay, and I've talked about strategic decision and support. There are a number of barriers that we have. There's poor data quality, talking about the quality of data that is being generated and produced. And this one sits on the domot of our IT people, the kind of data that they produce. And I will also challenge finance professionals also, internal control professionals, IT auditors also, on your involvement in the implementation of systems, because you are the users of that data. It is not the people designing the applications and software. So if you are not involved in the implementation to tell them this application must capture this, capture this, capture this, control must be here. No, you cannot design it like that. No, this control has to be there. If you are not doing it and you go and sit down and say, let them design it, when they finish, I will now check. No, we must insist in our management meetings that when computer and applications are being designed, okay, that you want us to use, they have to be a part of the implementation process, right from requirement gathering to user acceptance testing, the regular reviews. Finance and control professionals must be involved. Another problem is lack of data skills. Another problem is resistance to change. Another problem is data silos across departments. We have APIs now that can marry applications, but finance is using something different. HR is using something different. Customer experience is using something different. Project management is using something different. Core process, they are using something different. And all of those applications, they are not having a handshake. So we are just having a lot of data flying all over the place, and we are not getting actionable intelligence from it. Organizations cannot run like that. So we must be able to bring all the silos together to have a single point of truth for all of the organization. That is how we add value to management. That is how organizations will move forward, because we must leverage on the power of data. If we leave our competitive advantage, we know how to market. We can go to the market. We have customers. We know people to talk to. There is information that can be used to even guide those activities. That's what we're talking about. And of course, there's weak data governance frameworks. That is also a major barrier. And to solve that, there must be leadership commitment, there must be training, there must be skills development, there must be cultural transformation in the way we handle our data too. There's a data culture. It's a discussion for the future, a data culture that need to be embedded in all organizations. That is how we appreciate data, how we treat data, how we protect data, how we transfer data, and all of that. So how do we build data-driven finance function? Number one, professionals must invest in skills development. That is a that is non-negotiable. We must adopt the right tools. Okay, in doing that, we must strengthen data, security, that's data governance. We must all, no, oh, sorry, I was just talking about the data culture. So we must foster a data-driven culture. What we are saying is that, see, decision making should be evidence-based. And it is you and I, the finance professionals, that have that responsibility. Decision making should be evidence-based. So it stems from the kind of information and reports that we are presenting. Add value to your reporting. Don't just drop the figures. Identify insights and patterns and talk to them so that management and board will make decision based on the patterns. Because see, the figure is there, we are seeing the figure, and I have told you the implication, I have told you the growth, and I have given you insight that they'll be sitting at the edge of their seat when you are making your presentation. And then it is easy for them to be able to what? To make decision based on the data. Somebody can say, look at what they are producing, look at their projection. So based on this, they're asking for, they told us they will make 1 billion. How much is 200 million that we cannot give them? But if there's no data, if there's no information, they cannot make decisions. Everybody will just be relying, say, let us keep doing it the way we have been doing it. Okay, so that is a some of the things that we need to do. And then before I wrap up, I'll talk about some ethical consideration. When there's great power, there is need for what? Responsibility. Okay, so there's need for us to also focus on data privacy and confidentiality. It is not all your organization information that you just carry and go and put on ChatGPT. Do not forget that the data that you are putting on is also part of what the data that ChatGPT that you are using, or that software you're using, is also a data source. Okay, for those OpenAI, they also use it to see different patterns to help some other people, and your data is also part of what they are using. So we need to be careful. We need to be careful when it comes to confidentiality and privacy of data. We must maintain professional skepticism. We must uphold integrity and transparency. We must remain trusted custodians of information, even in a digital, it's not everything you push around and push out. Very important. And then we must also avoid bias in AI models. Okay. Finally, the future accountant will be tech data savvy, not only tech savvy, will be technology enabled, will be insight driven, strategically relevant, and you can join the train, okay, by making sure that you get the necessary skills to be able to what? To be among those that can make use of data to help the organization to make decision, help your practice to make decision, and even personally, professionally to make decisions. So we are not going to replace by technology when we embrace data and when we make use of AI. Okay. Uh Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you for your time and attention. And if there are any questions, I will please take them now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Ah, wow. Thank you for brilliant presentation. And I can see from my own point of view that you have done a great justice to the topic. And what are the take home from the presentation? Actually, the big data is very large volume, produced at high velocity and high fidelity. But the true value of data lies not in its volume, but in an organization's ability to transform it to actionable insight and informed decisions. And there are several opportunities for any organization or professional that successfully leverage data to make faster and better decisions, to improve operational efficiency, and to enhance risk management and fraud detection. And what are the accountants' evolving roles? Accountant evolving role, we have to move from record keeper to strategic advisors, backward-looking reporting to forward-looking insight, from manual processing to automated analytics. And these are very impactful presentations. And I know our time has been fast spending, and there is session for the question and answer. Let me now welcome all our members for questions so that our presenter can give necessary answers to our various questions. Thank you. So we can raise our hands for identifying our individual professional that want to ask questions. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear
Hello?
you. We can hear you.
So, question and answer session. Whoever asks question to her, please.
Somebody is raising hand already.
Mr. Adedeji, you have the floor, sir. Mr. Adedeji Oyemade, you have the floor. Mr. Adedeji, can you unmute yourself? Okay. Dr. Mrs. Siliola, you have the floor. Dr. Mrs. Siliola. I think there is problem of
Yes.
unmuting.
Hello. Yes,
Hello.
can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah,
You
it was the
have the
host
floor.
did not allow us to unmute. I think I've been able to unmute myself. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay,
We
thank
can
you
hear
very
you.
much. Yes, let me appreciate our paper presenter for the insightful presentation. Thank you very much. We really appreciate you. My question majorly is on how to develop the skill. What advice will you have for us and how to uh, uh, move on from being a traditional bookkeeper to be an expert in data analysis? I know it's very essential. And for people who run their businesses, how can we develop our own AI? Because personally, my challenge is when you use the uh, the the uh, the app, I mean the AI that is in the general space, you are not certain that your information is safe. You understand? Like you said, should be very careful about uploading our information into the public space. So how do we now, develop our own AI without too much of financial burden on us? Is there a way we can do this? And how do we learn further to be an expert in data analytics? This is very important for me. Once again, thank you so much for the presentation.
Yeah, hello, sir. I think I can talk now.
All right. Yeah.
Okay,
Go ahead, sir.
can I go ahead,
That's
sir?
Mr.
Okay, yeah.
Adedeji Oyemade. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah. I want to really appreciate the district for the opportunity to give us this opportunity for this topic of today. I really appreciate the district for that. Then to our paper presenter, thank you very much, sir. Yeah, I want to ask this short question. Like you said that we should learn how to use all these AI of a thing to be to know how to apply it to the work we are doing now, because everybody is into tech now. Then I want to ask if there is any available platform for some of us that have taken the pain to go and learn it somewhere, but nowhere to apply it. Because if you learn something and you are not putting it into practice, either for free or for a charge, sooner or later that thing will be erased from that person's brain. So I want to ask if there's a platform that sir, that someone can apply this knowledge we have learned. For example, that data analytics. If there's any platform that someone can just be practicing it, so that we will be good at it going forward. Please, I want you to help us share that platform so that we can log into that, so that the knowledge gain won't be lost eventually. Thank you very much, sir.
Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening, the
Good evening,
moderator.
sir.
Good evening, sir.
My name is Dr.
Hello.
Prince Oyebade Oyedepo FC, former council member, past chairman of the district. Mine is not a question, but in form of advice. Number one, I don't know whether this, program is live stream on YouTube. If not, I want to advise the district to have an active YouTube channel in such a way that you can be live streaming this kind of programs, for the use of the society at large. People can go back to it, and watch it over and over again, even by those who are not, on the call log. So that's an advice to the district. So, please work on it as quickly as possible. Then to the paper presenter, I want to thank you for the thought-provoking paper. It's quite challenging and impressive. But I want to talk about technology, because what concerns me is that accountants nowadays emphasize the use of technology, to even advantage. If we are using technology, we should strike a balance with it. Most of the accountants of nowadays, cannot really, appraise financial statements. Some of them cannot raise journals independently without using technology. I've been in practice for the past 34 years. That means that my firm has been in the system since 1994. So 32 years ago. But what we experience is that accountants of nowadays don't even know how to raise journals. They rely on AI. They rely on technology. And that is not affecting medicine. It's not affecting law. they still place premium on practical exposure, but we are leaning too much, on technology. I think there should be a balance between technology and practical experience. Then, or this AI, honestly speaking, if care is not taken, it will take away our proficiency, our ability to do things on our own. Then the paper presenter talked about technology and fraud detection. I'm not comfortable with that as someone that has worked as a board member of an anti-graft agency. Because most fraud nowadays, are based on inflated contracts. Maybe a job that was supposed to go for about 10 million, they will hike it to about 100 million. Then how will technology detect that? You need human effort. What? Recording. Hello, can you hear me?
You cannot
Yes, we can hear you now.
Sorry, a call came in. So last but not the least, we have a lot of challenges facing business organizations. And some of those challenges, come from the government. If government does not turn out good policies, there is no way by which business organizations will not be challenged. There is no way by which individuals will not be challenged. Therefore, I want to advise professional accountants to brace up, to be able to advise the government on good policies they can turn out for the society in such a way that our business organizations, will not be struggling to survive. That's just my advice. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. You can go ahead to give answers to those questions. Thank
All right. Thank you very much for the questions. I would say that two of the people that asked the questions are very senior, respected people in the profession. Dr. Yebade, I honor you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Yeah, well done, sir. Well done, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well respected and recognized. It's a privilege to be presenting to somebody like you. you know. All right, sir. So yes, I'm going to agree with you. Yeah, that with technology, we need to strike a balance. Okay. One of my bosses, Peter Akinwumi, used to say something. He used to say that you can't be a good automatic driver if you don't know manual. And a simple case in point is this. I want to challenge those that are automatic drivers here that did not learn with manual. If you know when a car changes gear, when an automatic car changes gear, you will discover that if you don't know, if you have not driven automatic before, you will not know when the gear changes. Your own is that you just start the car, put it on drive and start moving. But do you know that the same way you need to change gears in the manual car at certain point, the automatic car also works like that. It actually changes gear. Okay, as you accelerate, only that it helps you to change the gear as you accelerate. So also that is, while I've always been an advocate of accountants using technology, I will say also that what the AI or technology does not replace your expertise and professional judgment. That is why the real rudiment of training as a professional still needs to be what? Still need to be carried out. Because you see, because of the availability of data and information, sometimes Even AI will give you wrong information. I can assure you it happens all of the time. I will give you an example. I used to test AI from time to time. Okay, let me give you a very funny example. So I went to ChatGPT like 2 weeks ago, and then I now asked the question that give me the possible group World Cup group draws that Nigeria can be in. The ongoing World Cup, oh, give me the draws, like the groups where Nigeria can be. Do I shock you? I still have it in history. If you want to that, I can screenshot and send to you. AI started doing draws for me and telling me Nigeria can be in group this. We play against South Africa. I say, I now went back and said, Nigeria did not qualify. The thing I came back and say, oh, I apologize. I'm sorry. But the question is that AI will always give you a disclaimer. That is not every information that you get is not correct. So it means that as professionals, that is why we have our professional judgment to be able to decide. Okay. So the thing is that we must be able to know how to use technology to our advantage. But the foundation of technology is still what? Is still what you know. Like I just told you that we have AI trainers, all those AI tools that you see. There are trainers. We call them AI trainers. You can also be an AI trainer if you want to, if you know how to go about it. As an accountant, you can be an AI trainer. And what that means is that if an accountant comes to the AI and is asking an accounting related question, AI can give that can give that person the right answer. How does the AI know it? AI is just a robot. It's just a computer. It's just a machine that is leveraging on data, complex amounts of data. The human brain has ability to also crunch that kind of data, but the human brain is not designed to do that, because the human brain is the most complex machine, the world over, more complex than any machine, any AI machine in the world. Okay, but the data that AI is using, some people are feeding it with that data. They are training it every day. So that is why it keeps improving. And you see, there is an ongoing war between OpenAI, ChatGPT, Meta, Grok, and then what's the name of this Indian one? And then and then Microsoft is up with Copilot, and then everybody is what? Everybody is, they are competing, they are improving it. I've given us examples. So professionals, I know a prof, an industrial chemistry prof, okay, that is an AI trainer. And what he's doing is that they are leveraging his knowledge, okay, to build models. And those models are to solve problems for users that come to use the what? To use the application. So it is still coming from the knowledge and experience, available data, knowledge and experience of users. And it is still leveraging on that. So it means that if you are a bad manual driver, you're also going to be a bad automatic driver. So that's the conclusion about that. So please, it does not replace our expertise. You will see some students that they will copy everything from ChatGPT. They will even copy. If you need more information, please say. And you will see it. I know that this one is AI. Do you know that even nowadays, even institutions, they are now asking students to be submitting AI disclosure forms. So for assignment, you must tell your supervisor whether you have used AI in that project, so they would know how to grade you. So artificial intelligence is to help us, but it's not to replace what you are doing. I hope we will also know that. And then, of course, the Nigerian the Nigerian factor will always be there, But I still believe that if there is available data, some of those things can still be spotted. For instance, when ministries go to present their budgets, for instance, it is easy to get prices of products. It is easy to get information on benchmarking. But because the system is dysfunctional, I'm sorry to say, so somebody cannot come and is quoting a budget that they want to buy 100 packs of water at 5,000 naira. as at that time, what is the fair value of a pack of water. So at the point of even checking what is being done, we can address that because there's adequate information as to the prices of items, even if you are going to make allowance for inflation. So if you say you are going to tar a 10-kilometer road for 1 billion, the question is that how is it done in other parts of the world? What are the constraints that you have? What are your man hours? What is the cost of materials that you want to use? What is the cost of consultancy and the professional people you want to use? All of those things, there are information around that. But because we lack adequate data and we are mentally lazy as a nation, so all of those things, they continue unchecked. At the point of you defending, if we are running we don't run the nation the way we run our private entities. When consultants come with a presentation, they will sweat and sweat and sweat and sweat. We will squeeze them to the last kobo because we have a lot of information about the price of what they want to come and sell to us. But when everybody gets to the top, it is national cake. Leave him and let him eat his own. Me too, I am eating my own. So, sir, I feel that the problem is that we have refused to leverage on data. There is available data for all of these things, and we are just too lazy. And then it's a culture. It's a culture, that we have as a nation. And then, some of well-run businesses, that those cultures don't go there. But when it is government, we just feel that let it just go like that. All right. Dr. Shile, that's my boss. So if you don't know, I honor you, man. Thank you very much. I didn't know you. I knew that you are a strong member of the district. Okay. So I'm also privileged that you have also listened to me. It's a privilege to have you around. And I have a lot of people that are my boss here. So I want to thank you for permitting me to speak to you this evening. Yes, to develop AI skills, you need to start from understanding data structures to how AI works, okay? And then there is need for little IT knowledge. And I'm saying that coding skill is not compulsory because even nowadays, I can assure you that with artificial intelligence, you can build a fully functional website. You don't need to know how to write code. Those days we went to learn HTML, all right? But with time, we discovered that there's CSS, okay? Those days we used to do, what do you call it? Object-oriented programming, okay? No. We used to write code line upon line. Then with time, object-oriented programming came. So what it means is that I can 100 lines, 1,000 lines, a single object will replace 1,000 lines of code. So I can spend 1 week to write 1,000 lines of code. But with object-oriented programming, a single object will do that same thing that 1,000 lines of code will do. Okay, so there are so many things that have bridged the knowledge gap in that. But to also respond to Mr. Mr. IQ, I hope I got it right. Sorry, before I even move to him, you need to have data first, okay, before you develop your AI, because AI sits on data. Okay, what AI does is just to be able to interpret your data and get you actionable insights. What AI does is that for the problem of tomorrow, you want to go to your AI agent and ask it, what should I do? And your AI agent is using the data of yesterday and the data that you are generating today to give you actionable insight based on how you have trained it. Very, very simple. So the problem with Nigerian businesses is that they don't know how to gather data. Okay, Nigeria, when I speak to business people, I used to tell them that a lot of businesses are not making profit because you do not even have information about your business. You don't have information about your business. Okay, so data is important. Data is important. Keep gathering the data on a daily basis. Warehouse it, store it, analyze it. You can get actionable results from it. And then with time, when you develop the necessary skill, because if you know how to build an AI agent, the first point of call is what? Data. So you start by gathering data, cleaning up the data, categorizing the data, and then doing small analysis using tools like Excel, Tableau. Power BI is an easy to learn tool. The only thing is that when it comes to all of these things, we need to be committed to learning, and you don't need to go to anywhere. There are free learning. There are free learning opportunities on YouTube. You go to Coursera, you go to all of these learning platforms. They have a lot of them. Some professionals, even your company HR has a learning management system. But I am always shocked to the bones that my own professional colleague, they are among those that will not even pay attention to that thing. And we are supposed to be trailblazers, everywhere we find ourselves. We are supposed to be solution providers, especially in this kind of environment that we have. But you see, professional colleagues, they don't want to, let's just continue to do the way we are doing. Meanwhile, there are opportunities to add value where we work. So there's Excel, as I said. Excel is a very powerful tool, I can tell you. Excel is the root of, and I've used quite a number of data analysis tools, and I can tell you confidently that the root of most of those tools is Excel. Yeah, it's Excel. So if you have a flashy data analysis tool that is beautiful you are using, go to your Excel. You may do it more because some of them, what they have done is to take advantage of the limitations of Excel to build their own applications. So if Excel will use 5 minutes to do it, their own can use 2 minutes, but Excel will still do it. I can assure you. So Excel is a powerful tool that we must leverage upon. We must leverage upon. So it has its own concerns. And then when we build on it, then we can move on to applications like Tableau, like Power BI, So with that one, your simple data, you can import it. You can get a lot of insight from it. Okay. So we can do that. And for AI platforms, yes, there's Copilot Studio. You can learn on Copilot Studio. You can learn on Google AI. Okay, Google has a lot of free courses. A lot of free. You cannot imagine the number of courses I have registered for that if I want to spend the whole day studying, I have courses that are free. I've done a lot and I keep doing. So on Google, just go to Google site. There are a lot of free courses. Some of these software companies, part of their CSR is to democratize learning. Okay, and we can take advantage of it. You get certificates. So there's Google AI. Okay, there's Copilot Studio. Copilot Studio is owned by Microsoft. That's Microsoft Copilot. And there's N8N. There's another platform called N8N. So from there, you can learn how to build your own AI agent from scratch. No code, though. You don't need to write code. You can learn how to build your AI agent from scratch. Okay, and then there are a number of those tools. They are all over the place that we can use. I hope that I've been able to respond to the questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We thank you and we appreciate the impactful knowledge you have shared. So without wasting much of our time, let me call on our Vice Chairman, ICANN Ibadan District Society, Mr. Oyetunji Oyeyemi, FCA, for vote of thanks. Thank you. Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, good evening, everybody. Standing on all the protocols that have been established. My job is simple.
Hello, good evening.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, sir?
Hello, good evening. Before the vote of thanks.
Yes, you can hear you.
Sorry, before the vote of thanks, I was unable to unmute myself on time. Sorry for. Hello?
Hello, we can hear you, sir.
Hello, sir.
Okay, sorry for taking us back. It's not really taking us back. My name is Shola Adekola. Let me commend the paper presenters and people that have asked one question or the other. Regards to our past chairman too, Dr. Prince Badio Yedepo. I just want to make just to make like an additions or a comment to some of the questions that people asked for and the discussion that the part of the area that our Dr. Prince Oyedepo talks about. In fact, this topic is more or less similar to the to the paper I presented at Oluyole District, one of their technical section as well. So I will agree with Doctor that indeed we cannot substitute the AI with the real skill that an accountant must have. However, with respect to the question that or the concern of Dr. Prince Oyedepo with respect to if a contract is being inflated, how can that be discovered? I want to say, if you have the opportunity to see that my paper, the example is there. Assuming the government is able to do a proper data integration, where even both the public procurement aspect of Nigeria contract is being fully integrated, there are AI machines that can help you even to discover if a contract is being inflated. There are machine learning language that one can use to even monitor if there's a duplication even of invoices and all those things. So what I want to say is that all this teaching or lesson or technical section is just like an eye-opener even to us as a chartered accountant. The way the world is going, we cannot do without even the IT, especially the data analytics aspect of it. So I want to encourage all of us, both the old, our senior colleagues, and the upcoming accountant, we just have to develop interest in this AI stuff so that we'll not be seen as somebody that will be completely out of the system. So this is just my few comments. And the one person that has a question, I think he was asking that where can he apply some of the things he has learned? So the paper presenter have answered part. Maybe if we want to develop ourselves better, having more knowledge, but in the area of where you can apply those knowledge, one of it is part of what the paper presenter is doing now. If we have this kind of idea, this kind of knowledge, there is nothing say we cannot sell ourselves to people, let people know. You can do online training for people if you are sure that you have this type of skill, because AI matter is a not cake even in the labor market now. Thank you.
Thank you for additional comment. Thank you so much, sir. Our Vice Chairman, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you very much, our Technical Secretary. The 26th Chairman of our district, Madam Salome Olabimpe Ajayi, FCA, all protocols duly observed. Like I said earlier, the task given to me is very simple. To do the vote of thanks. Firstly, I want to thank the paper presenter. Sorry if I can't pronounce your name very well, Mr. Rotimi Okegbe. I hope I'm right. Hello, sir. I hope I'm right with your pronunciation, with the name of you, with your name, sir.
Thank you so very much. I'm happy you pronounced it well, very well.
Thank you. I'm glad. We want to thank you so much for the delivery. You have opened our eyes. You have illuminated our mind towards towards the simple topic we all see as data, and to the nitty-gritty of what data can do and how it can even help our decisions. We want to thank you so much, sir. And we hope that next time that we call upon you, you would answer us and give us something much, much better than this one that you have our appetite with. So once again, on behalf of the district, I say thank you very much, sir. I want to thank, on this call, I noticed that we have several of our elders who started this program with us and are still on the call. I want to thank most especially Dr. Prince Oyebade Oyedepo, FCA, past chairman of our district and a past council member. We thank you for your presence, sir. Let me quickly mention a few names of our elders on this call. Without exhausting all the lists, just permit me if I can't mention your name because of want of time. I want to recognize Reverend Canon Akiko-Ade. I want to recognize Alhaji Kola Gafar. I want to recognize Otumba Ishola Timothy. I want to recognize Deacon Benga Afolabi. I want to recognize Elder Bimbo Fawole, and so much of our elders on this call. We appreciate you, and we hope that subsequent programs you will also attend with us. I want to thank all members of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. On the roll call, I saw somebody from Abraka and District Society. So I'm using you as a point of call for all other members from other district societies that have joined this call. We thank you for the attendance. God bless you. Quickly, I want to thank our members from Ibadan, the ICANN Ibadan District Society. Without you, this program will not be successful. And being a Sunday, and we have this participation of up to, at some point we had 83. I want to thank each and every member of the district who are taking time to attend this webinar. I want to say thank you very much, and we'll do more of this. Let me also thank the technical committee, and by extension, the executive committee, the team 26, for bringing this kind of topic. And we hope that the committee will do more, and will continue to educate us, you continue to take us on the path of what our profession calls for. So on that note, I want to round off my vote of thanks. I want to thank everybody that I have not been able to mention, but you are on this call. We will say thank you very much. And we promise that very soon we would have another technical session that will be worthy, and would all want all of you to join us. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Thank you, our Vice Chairman. God bless you. So, on this note, this is the end of the technical session for the June 2026, and the technical committee team is promising the members that the next one is also going to be topical and going to be exciting. Thank you very much. We appreciate all our presence. May God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you to all our members. God bless you all.
Creation, where